Hello, my name is Vicki Lechelt and I'm with Vicki's Parlor, but today I'm here hosting the Andrew Richter Show. I have two very special guests and we're going to be discussing District 281. The first guest is Ron Stoffel, kind of an expert in the business of 281. And my second guest is Andrew Richter, the normal host of the Andrew Richter Show.
Thank you for guest hosting, Vicki. You're the only person who can guest host for me. I just want you to know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to start off by talking about the Divestiture Committee at 281, and Ron knows quite a bit about that. I believe you're part of the committee.
Yep, I'm one of the citizen members on the Divestiture Committee, and we had a short meeting this past month and had some draft recommendations, and we're going to hopefully have our final recommendations for the committee to vote on in July at our July meeting on a Wednesday. I think it's the third Wednesday of the month, so if anybody wants to come, they can come to that. And the recommendations regarding the divestiture of the buildings currently are down to the Husterman site. Obviously we'll talk about that one shortly, but that one is kind of off the table other than the sale to the special District 287 special ed. But we have recommended currently to put on the sale currently both Kavanaugh and Winnetka Learning Center. Even though those are going to be used for the next 2 years, the recommendation from the people that are in the commercial real estate business is to put them on the sale block now because it may take a while with the current situation that we're in with our economy. Then the the Pilgrim Lane and Olson are being held right now, and there is an internal or a couple of internal committees that are looking at some type of program enhancements. And that was brought up. I had missed a couple of meetings before that. That was the first time I had heard about that, and I talked to Superintendent Sicoli, and they are all internal committees currently that are looking at magnet school, I think, is on there. Maybe some ways to increase the current resident population coming back to it, so for some programs, and those are supposed to be done sometime in November. So I think that one is off the block. Although I think we're going to be discussing that as to a time parameter maybe for when that should be put on there, and if we sell the other two buildings before either Kavanaugh or Winnetka Learning and need to move those facilities while Sandburg is being used by the Special Education 287 Intermediate District. And it is, we want to try to get as much of the sale done as soon as possible when things are right for the community.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that, Andrew?
Well, I was curious as to these recommended program enhancement now is what we're calling it. Is there any word on what that could be as far as a magnet going to Pilgrim Lane, or is that just up in the air right now?
No, I haven't. Like I said, they're internal. I got very little information on it, so I would hope that before they get too far down the road, they do include the community on what they're going to do and report back, hopefully, in the interim period of time. Because, again, I think everybody on the board or everyone on the committee was looking at trying to turn the excess facilities into cash as quickly as possible for the district and for the citizens to try to alleviate some of the capital costs that we know are coming down the road.
Yeah, well, the thing about Pilgrim Lane, if you look at Pilgrim Lane, which was a school we closed last year was its last year, that building needs...
Actually, it was a year. They weren't even open this year. So
yeah,
it was a year
end
ago.
of 09.
Right,
okay.
right. Mm-hmm.
That building is in rough shape. That needs quite a bit of work from what I understand. It's unrenovated. And to reopen it, what's the rationale to reopen it after we closed it?
I don't know for sure. I think that they want to try to again, look at alternatives to try to bring more students in, which brings more money. I would hope that that would be looked at as to the cost-benefit relationship between what the costs would be of renovating that facility, because yes, it is unrenovated. I think of the 3 buildings probably needs the least, but we're talking, 10 millions
probably,
plus because it has a roof issue and some other things, and it has been, mothballed, for a year already. Things would have to be brought up, and there's deferred maintenance that's on that one that would have to be done. So I think that in my mind is a big question mark. Even if they decide that it's a good idea, they need to look at the cost benefit of what the costs of bringing that building and bringing it up to speed, and when they would have to do these other things. Bringing more money in, but if we have to spend more to renovate it, that may not be the best thing to do.
Yeah, and a cost benefits analysis is something they often they focus so much on the revenue side, we forget the expenditure side with it. I mean, how much does it cost to hang on to these buildings? What does it cost per year to use buildings that we aren't using? We have to keep them up. We can't let them fall apart. And that's got to be a factor in whatever we decide to do in the future.
Right? Yep, I would agree.
Well, what about the Hosterman then? Is that being proposed for sale?
Yeah, that actually, their sale agreement has been reached between 287 and 281 to sell that. Both parties have signed off on that, and now my understanding is the ball's in the court of 287 Intermediate School District to go to the city and get all their plans approved on that. A tentative closing, I think, was October, November of this year for them to start breaking ground. From what I heard from the city, sometime, maybe not this month, but next month they're on potentially but they have to go through, I think it's on like a couple-month process of permit approvals, the plans and all those types of things before they can break ground, then the Hosterman site cannot be demolished until, from my understanding anyway, until the sale is complete and closed.
So are they, pardon me, Vic, are they tearing down the Hosterman site and building on top of the current one? Is that the plan to do?
They've got, and part of it is there's remediation that has to be done for asbestos and other things first, and then the building has to be completely demolished, and then the new building will go on the same footprint site that the current one is. And I haven't seen the plans. I haven't paid that much attention as to what type of building it is, but it'll be on that site, so that Robbinsdale will continue to have where the soccer fields are, and then where Winnetka Learning currently is. So they have 2 parcels still on that large site. So the far western part of it will be where the new facility will be for the Intermediate 287 School District. And then we will continue to have the middle section, so everything from their building to Winnetka will be owned by it's actually 2 plots, 2 separate plots there.
Well, I'm not an architect or anything, but may I make a suggestion for when they do build the new buildings? No flat roofs. Why do they continue to put flat roofs on school, and then every one of them, like Forest, already has a mold problem? Okay, no flat roofs.
Now, didn't we just remodel Forest about
Yes,
6 years ago or
and
something?
they already have them.
We rebuilt it.
Rebuilt it.
Yep.
But yeah, that was 2004-ish, I wanted to say. I think we're still
4 or 5, yeah, it could have been.
something like that.
Have you seen the new property where the old Lincoln School was, that they've built in there?
Yeah, Prairie
That we
Seeds.
sold-
That's a charter school.
Yeah, we sold that building
I think it
finally.
looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were leasing a preschool at Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken.
Leasing?
I mean, we were leasing
Leasing it out.
right to a.
Prairie Center was in there. Prairie Seed was in
yeah.
there recently.
Yeah,
but
that
before
was-
that quite a long time ago. Prairie Seed was in part of the building for quite a long time.
Oh,
And they
before that.
wanted to buy the building, but the previous administration, as it were, didn't want to sell it because they didn't want to have a competition. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Because now it's a
course.
charter school, so it was
Yep.
perceived as competition in our own district.
Oh, don't want to give anybody choices. Who'd want to do that? Gee, they might
But
not-
it turned out to be, in my opinion, a good thing that it was sold and now it's been rebuilt and looks
Looks really nice
looks
there.
good.
Yep, very much so.